Welcome to Daily Speak English channel. English podcast for easy English conversation.
Okay, real question before we even start. Daniel, did you have your coffee this morning?
Define morning.
Oh, no.
I had half a cup. My neighbor knocked on the door. I got distracted. I came back and it was cold, and I just stood there looking at it like, who did this to me?
You looked at cold coffee and felt personally betrayed. You are a hero. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Daily Speak English, your calm, friendly, and occasionally chaotic space to grow your English through real, everyday conversations. I'm Maya.
And I'm Daniel, and yes, I am emotionally recovering from a cold coffee incident. But I am here. I showed up. That counts.
It absolutely counts. And today we are talking about something that millions of people around the world have a deeply personal relationship with.
Coffee.
Coffee. Beautiful, warm, loyal, slightly addictive, completely irreplaceable coffee.
Some people drink coffee because they love the taste. Some people drink coffee because they enjoyed a ritual. And some people drink coffee because without it, they are genuinely not safe to be around other humans.
That is a real category of person.
It is the largest category. I might be in it.
You are definitely in it. So today's episode is all about why we love coffee so much. And I think when we really start to explore it, you'll realize that coffee is not just a drink.
Right. It's routine, a comfort, a tiny pause inside a very noisy day, a survival mechanism, a personality, a lifestyle with a mug.
And for some people, honestly, a whole identity.
I know a person whose entire brand is I need coffee. That's it. That is who they are.
We all know that person.
We are that person sometimes.
Yeah, we are. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about why coffee feels like more than just coffee, why it brings comfort, why coffee shops feel like tiny safe worlds, why cutting back feels almost impossible, and why the smell of it alone can change your whole mood.
And we'll explore something really interesting, how coffee is connected to memory, emotion, routine, and even who we are as people.
And as always, while we chat, you'll be picking up natural, real English, words and phrases that actually show up in everyday conversations. This is a B1 to B2 level episode, so don't worry if you don't catch everything the first time. Just relax, listen for the feeling, and let the language come to you.
And at the end, we'll do our word tour, a calm walkthrough of the most useful vocabulary from today, with examples, repetition, and a nice slow pace just for you.
So whether you're someone who can't function before 9 a.m. or you're the person who says, I could quit coffee anytime while drinking your fourth cup,
This episode is for you.
let's get into it.
Okay, so Maya, I want to start with something. When people say, I love coffee, what do you think they actually mean?
Oh, that's such a good place to start. Because I genuinely don't think most people are talking about the taste, right? Like, yes, taste matters. But when someone says, I need my morning coffee, they're not talking about flavor notes and roasting profiles.
Ah, yes, the earthy undertones, the rich finish.
Nobody at 7 a.m. is thinking about earthy undertones.
Nobody. At 7 a.m., you're just thinking, please, just work. Please make me a person again.
Yes, because that's the thing. Coffee at that hour isn't about taste. It's about transformation. You are not fully human yet, and coffee is the thing that completes the process.
It's like you're in beta mode, and coffee is the software update.
That is exactly it. The soul is still loading.
Still buffering. Do not disturb. Please wait.
And it's that feeling, that transformation, that makes coffee feel like a ritual. Not just a habit, but a ritual. Something personal and meaningful that you return to every single day.
The same mug, the same corner of the kitchen, the same smell rising before the first sip. There's something almost sacred about that.
And some people don't even realize how attached they are until one morning they can't have it.
And suddenly the whole day feels wrong.
Not just wrong, spiritually off.
Yes, like the universe made a mistake and nobody has corrected it yet.
I once had to go without coffee on a really important morning. I was traveling, the hotel didn't have any ready yet, and I had a meeting at 9 a.m. And I sat in that meeting nodding and smiling, but inside I was just static, like a TV with no signal.
Just the face. Nothing behind the face.
Just the face doing its best.
And that is what coffee does.
It's comforting in this quiet, steady way. Not exciting, not dramatic, just soft. It makes life feel softer.
And I think that softness comes from familiarity, the feeling of knowing something so well that it becomes safe, trusted, almost part of who you are.
And when everything else feels chaotic, and honestly, a lot of days feel chaotic,
A lot of days.
one familiar, warm, reliable little thing can calm you more than you expect.
It's like an anchor, small but steady.
Okay, can we talk about the morning version of people? Before coffee?
Yes. Oh, yes, we must.
Because there are two types of people in the morning. Type 1, naturally awake, eyes open, ready to engage. Maybe they stretch.
I don't trust those people.
Same. Like, what is happening inside you that you're just fine at 7 a.m.?
It feels suspicious.
Very suspicious. And then there's type 2, which is most of us, where you're technically awake, you're upright, you're moving through the kitchen, but nothing has really started.
You are physically present. Mentally, you are still somewhere between the pillow and a dream you were having about something you can't quite remember anymore.
You're not available yet. And the wild thing is, you know you're not available. You just can't fix it yet. You need the coffee to fix it.
And then the caffeine kicks in. Oh, that moment, that specific moment when it starts to work.
Oh, yes.
Your brain clears, your mood lifts, you stop looking at your kitchen wall like it personally did something to you.
Before coffee, I am genuinely irritated by things that are completely neutral. The light is too bright, someone's footsteps are too loud, a bird is chirping outside in nature, and it feels like a personal attack.
Bird chirping outside, the audacity!
I know how it sounds, but before coffee, it is real.
Oh, no, I believe you. I fully believe you. And here's the thing, that's where we start to see dependence. Not in a scary, dramatic way, just in a very quiet, human way. Your body notices when something it's used to isn't there.
And it's not just physical, it's emotional too, right? Because you're not only missing the caffeine, you're missing the ritual, the pause, the comfort.
The whole ceremony of it.
Exactly. And I think that's why people get weirdly defensive when you suggest cutting back on coffee.
Weirdly defensive.
Have you ever tried to cut back?
I tried once. Day 1 was fine. Day 2, I was staring at my coffee maker like, we've been through so much together. Don't do this to me.
You looked at an appliance with emotional longing.
Wow, that got deep.
The caffeine is doing its best work.
The caffeine is doing its best work. Now, here's something I want to talk about that I don't think gets enough attention. The midday coffee. The afternoon cup.
Oh, that one hits different.
Completely different. Because a morning coffee is almost expected, right? But an afternoon coffee, that one comes with a story.
That one comes with a whole emotional backstory.
Because some coffee is just coffee. But some coffee arrives at 3 p.m. when you are tired in a way that sleep won't fix. When there's too much noise in your head. When the to-do list has somehow gotten longer since the morning. When you are 2 emails away from completely losing your mind.
2 emails, very specific.
Always 2 specific emails.
And in that moment, the coffee is not just a drink. It's a tiny act of kindness you do for yourself.
A pick-me-up. I love that phrase because it sounds exactly like what it is. Not my whole life turned around. Not I had a breakthrough. Just this lifted me a little. And a little was enough.
Enough to answer the email. Enough to get through the next hour. Enough to stop being silently annoyed at everyone in the room.
A little is so often enough.
I had one of those moments a few weeks ago. I was just done. Emotionally flat, you know? Not sad exactly, just empty. Like the battery was at 3% and I didn't have a charger.
That kind of tired is different from regular tired.
It really is. And I made coffee, sat by the window, did absolutely nothing useful for about 10 minutes. Just looked outside. Watched some pigeons have a disagreement about something. Pigeons having a disagreement. They were very passionate about whatever it was. Anyway, after those 10 minutes, I felt slightly more able to continue. That's it. Not transformed, not inspired, just slightly more able. And coffee does that. It doesn't solve the day,
It just makes the day feel a little less sharp. A little less sharp. I love that. Some of the best things in life aren't big solutions. They're small softeners.
That needs to be a quote on something. A mug, probably.
A coffee mug, obviously.
Okay, I need to talk about the coffee shop, because this is its own whole universe.
It really is. Coffee at home is one feeling. Coffee in a cafe is a completely different world.
Right? There's something about a good coffee shop. The music is low, cups are clinking softly in the background, people are talking but quietly, someone's reading, someone is staring at a laptop screen pretending to work.
The laptop people. You never quite know if they're being incredibly productive or just watching something while looking serious.
Could be a spreadsheet, could be a documentary about penguins. Nobody knows.
Nobody asks, and that's kind of the beauty of it. A coffee shop is one of the few places where you're allowed to just be quiet, tired, thoughtful, a little lost, and nobody requires you to explain yourself. You can sit there alone and feel held by something, not by a person necessarily, just by the atmosphere, the warmth, the soft noise, the sense that life is continuing around you and you don't have to perform right now. Alone, but not lonely. Exactly that. And oh, the plans people walk into coffee shops with. The ambition is remarkable. The coffee shop ambitions, yes. You walk in thinking, today I will sort my entire life. I will answer every email. I will finally start that project. I will become the person I've always meant to be. And then you drink half the coffee, you look out the window for 30 minutes, you watch people walk by, you think some vague thoughts about life, and you leave feeling like you've had a deeply productive experience.
And honestly, that is okay. Sometimes the window and the coffee and the 30 minutes of quiet is the thing you needed most.
It's not procrastination, it's restoration.
It really is. Because coffee, especially in a cafe, isn't always about productivity. Sometimes it's just about how the moment feels, the atmosphere hitting the spot.
When something hits the spot, it feels exactly right. Not almost right, not pretty good. Exactly right. Your mood says, yes, this is what I needed.
And you couldn't have planned it. You just had to arrive. Can we get into the memory side of coffee? Because I think this is where it gets really beautiful.
Yes, let's go there.
Coffee is one of the most nostalgic smells on earth. One breath and you are somewhere else entirely.
Completely. For me, the smell of coffee takes me back to Saturday mornings when I was small. My parents would be in the kitchen, the house was still quiet, nobody was rushing anywhere yet, and the smell of coffee was just there, warm, safe, like the day hadn't started putting pressure on anyone yet.
That's such a beautiful memory.
And now, every time I smell coffee, especially in the morning, especially when everything is still quiet, there's this little flicker, this warmth. Not a big emotion, just a small, sentimental one.
And now every time I smell coffee, especially in the morning, especially when everything is still quiet, there's this little flicker, this warmth. Not a big emotion, just a small, sentimental one. Like it stayed. It waited for you. And I think that's a big part of why coffee means so much to people. It's not just the caffeine. It's not just the taste. It's everything that the smell and the warmth carry with them. Years of mornings. People you love. Places that felt safe. Versions of yourself from before.
And that's why cutting back on coffee, or giving it up completely, can feel almost sad. Not just physically difficult, actually a little sad. Because you're not giving up a drink. You're stepping away from a ritual. And rituals are where memories live. That's really true.
So maybe coffee was never really just about the coffee. Maybe it was always about the moment wrapped around it. The routine, the comfort, the memory, the pause. That first sip on a slow morning when life feels big and loud. And for one tiny second, everything just settles.
Yeah, exactly that.
Word tour. Vocabulary section. All right, before we close out today, let's take our word tour together. These are the best vocabulary words from today's episode.
Next, sentimental. If something feels sentimental, it carries personal emotion or memory. It matters to you in a deep emotional way, not just logically. For example, that old cafe is still sentimental to her. She used to go there with her father. Or he kept the chipped mug for sentimental reasons. Repeat, sentimental. Sentimental. Next, familiarity. Familiarity is the feeling of knowing something so well that it becomes trusted, comfortable, and safe. For example, there was a sense of familiarity in her morning routine that made her feel grounded. Or the familiarity of that little cafe made him relax the moment he walked in. Repeat, familiarity. Familiarity. Next, soothing.
If something is soothing, it helps you feel calm, settled, and less tense. It's gentle, it's quiet, it's soft. For example, the sound of the coffee machine in the morning is strangely soothing. Or she found the low music and warm light of the cafe deeply soothing after a hard day. Repeat. Soothing. Soothing. Next, nostalgic. Nostalgic is that warm, bittersweet feeling when something reminds you of the past. Happy, but also a little tender. For example, the smell of coffee made him feel nostalgic for quiet childhood mornings. Or there's something nostalgic about sitting in a cafe on a rainy afternoon. Repeat. Nostalgic. Nostalgic. Next, dependence. Dependence means relying on something so much that you genuinely feel its absence when it's not there. For example, her dependence on coffee became obvious the morning she skipped it and felt foggy all day. Or small habits can quietly turn into a dependence over time. Repeat. Dependence. Dependence. Now, a phrasal verb. Kick in. When something kicks in, its effect begins to happen or become noticeable. For example, the caffeine usually kicks in about 20 minutes after your first sip. Or, once the medicine kicked in, she finally started to feel better. Repeat. Kick in. Kick in. Another phrasal verb. Cut back on. To cut back on something means to reduce it, to have less of it than before. For example, she's trying to cut back on coffee after 4 p.m. so she can sleep better. Or, he decided to cut back on sugar, but coffee was non-negotiable. Repeat. Cut back on. Cut back on. Next, a pick-me-up. A pick-me-up is something small that gives you energy, lifts your mood, or helps you feel a little better when you're low. For example, that afternoon coffee was exactly the pick-me-up I needed to get through the rest of the day. Or, sometimes a short walk outside is the best pick-me-up. Repeat. A pick-me-up. A pick-me-up. And our final phrase. Hit the spot. When something hits the spot, it feels exactly right for that moment. Not almost right, exactly right. For example, that warm coffee on a cold morning really hit the spot. Or, after a long week, a quiet table, a good book, and a coffee just hit the spot. Repeat. Hit the spot. Hit the spot. Such good words today.
Such good words. And honestly, I think we chose such rich vocabulary today because the topic itself is so rich. Coffee carries so much human feeling inside something so small and ordinary.
You know what I keep thinking about after this conversation?
What?
How sometimes the things we love most, the things that feel most like us, are the small, quiet, everyday things. Not the big moments, not the dramatic events, just the familiar cup, the morning pause, the window seat in a cafe where you can breathe for 20 minutes.
Yes, the things that don't look like much from the outside, but feel enormous from the inside.
Coffee is one of those things. And I think even if you don't drink coffee, you probably have your version of it. Your ritual, your small, steady comfort, the thing that makes the day feel a little more yours.
And if you can notice that thing, really notice it, instead of rushing past it, it changes something, even slightly.
So this week, notice your rituals. Be a little kind to yourself. Let the moment be enough.
And if that moment involves coffee,
We completely, fully, wholeheartedly support you.
we really do. If you enjoyed today's episode of Daily Speak English, please leave us a comment telling us, what does coffee mean to you? Is it comfort, energy, memory, routine, or just the world's best excuse to sit somewhere quiet and do nothing for a while?
All valid, all deeply valid. Give this episode a like if it made you feel something, or if you just want to support two people who clearly have complicated feelings about coffee. Very complicated, beautifully complicated.
Subscribe to Daily Speak English so you never miss an episode, and share this with someone in your life who absolutely cannot function before their first cup,
Or someone who says, I can quit anytime,
while making cup number 4
at 2 p.m.
at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. Take care of yourself this week. Find your small comforts. Let them matter. This is Maya,
And this is Daniel.
and you've been listening to Daily Speak English. We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.
Quietly, just before the mic cuts, I'm going to make another coffee. Of course you are.